Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, the weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream hosted by Logic Dolphin. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against those goals are not welcome and will not be tolerated. And with that, let's begin. New game. 4 boards and spirits. Random adversary, no supporting adversary. And the reason I picked 4 is because I want to play with new things. Where are the new things? should have double checked if we actually have. Oh, there it is. Wandering Voice. Because it's sort of at least played, of course. Let's do alphabetical just to make this easier. Wandering Voice. And then Bringer with Violence. And then Keeper with Spreading Hostility. And Shadows with Darkfire. There it is. Oh boy. Yes, these are the 4 new things that were just released as part of the next Nature Incarnate phase release. I do not remember the name of the expansion, but they were added in this past week and they're now available publicly. And I've been playing on the public build for the past couple of months. So I have not actually played any of these, and so let's just play all of them at once. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we're also doing a new scenario every week, and the one we did last week was Guard the Isle's Heart, which was super easy. So now we do Powers Long Forgot, which is all over the place. But let's see. So what do we have here? 4 boards, so it's going to be a headache, but in any case. Wandering Voice, Keen's Delirium, New Spirit. Ages ago, calls all living things to die was a great and respected spirit until it decided to test the limits of its power. Accounts disagree as to why, and devastated a portion of the island with a vast swath of death. Matters would have gone even worse but for 3 spirits who cleverly sundered the great spirit's voice and bound it to wander, never returning to its owner. Wandering Voice Keen's Delirium only occasionally brings death with its song, now more usually causing derangement, obsession, and folly in those it touches. The Dahan have learned a variety of tricks to avoid the worst of its influence, but are occasionally affected nonetheless. Setup. Put 2 presents on your starting board, 1 in land number 6 and 1 in land number 7. Put the Incarna on your starting board in land number 6. Playstyle, very positional, has a highly mobile Incarna, particularly with lots of air, that adds strife and chases explorers' towns around as it roams the island. It has a harder time setting up Dahan counterattacks, but can use mind-shattering song to more directly harm invaders with strife, and earn a fair bit of fear in the process. Complexity high, complexity powers, control high, fear high, utility medium low, defense medium low, offense low. I've never played this spirit before. I have no idea how it works. I mean, I've read it a million times, but I've never actually played it. So we shall see. Special rules. A clarion voice given form. You have an Incarna. It may count as sacred site. If empowered, it isolates its land. Cool. So Incarna may count as sacred site, so it's like a presence, except you may count it as not a presence in Ravages or whatever, and there are ways to add it back, even if you choose to destroy it for whatever reason, so it's kind of nice to do things with it. But anyway, every Incarna is different. Spread, Tumult, and Delusion. When your actions add or move Incarna to a land with invaders, add a strife in the destination land. And lands with or adjacent to Incarna, if strife is present, Dahan do not participate in Ravage. They do not take damage or counterattack. Isolate has no effect on Incarna and Dahan being adjacent. Yeah, because Isolate is strictly invader based. Okay, so we can add strife more easily. However, our punishment is that we don't have Dahan counterattacks to benefit the strife. Senseless roaming. When your actions add strife to an explorer town, you may push it. Neat. So lots of strife, lots of movement. Growth options, pick one. Number 1, reclaim cards. Add or move incarnates to land with your presence. Can I zoom in? I actually want to zoom in for once because it's small text. Add or move incarnates to land with your presence. Gain 1 energy. Number 2, add a presence at range 3. Add a presence at range 1. Number 3, gain a power card. Add a presence at range 2. Gain 1 energy. Gain air. And that's the Incarna symbol. Counts as a presence or a sacred site. Yeah. And you can add it back with growth option 1 in case it gets destroyed. Let's see. So the presence track starts at 0 energy and 1 card play per turn, goes up to 4 and 4. We got a sun or moon, an air, push your Incarna, and reclaim 1. Okay. The innate powers. Inscrutable journeying. Yes, let's just zoom in for fun, I guess. I could have, whoops. Zoomed in over here as well. I can zoom in on all 4 corners. Inscrutable journeying. Fast, targeting yourself. Each time you move Incarna into land with invaders, spread tumult and delusion adds a strife. That's always true. At 1 air, you may push Incarna. At 3 air, you may push Incarna. At 5 air, you may push Incarna. At 2 moon, 1 fire, 4 air, and 1 plant, empower Incarna. So what does empowering do? Oh, right. It isolates the land it's in. Okay. Mind-shattering song. Slow, range 1 from sacred site, targeting a land with strife. At 1 moon, 2 air, 1 fear per moon you have. At 1 sun, 2 air, 1 damage per sun you have to invaders with strife only. 1 sun, 1 moon, 4 air. For each sun moon pair you have, destroy 1 invader with strife. Destroy an invader with strife. I love it when it says destroy invader, as we've learned with Find Your Paths Unseen. Anything that just says invader counts cities, so you can just destroy a city with strife for free. Well, needing sun, moon, and stuff. So neat. Okay, so then the innate powers, or sorry, unique powers. Exhale confusion and delirium. 2 fear, invaders with strife don't participate in ravage. Check when ravaging, they'll do damage. Yeah. So basically, the land doesn't ravage. Well, I guess no, that's not true. The invaders with strife don't ravage. The invaders without strife still ravage. But Talon would still not counterattack. So if they're adjacent to the Incarna. Frightful Keening. Push Incarna. If this pushes Incarna into a land with invaders, 2 fear there before adding strife. Because when you add move Incarna to land with invaders, add a strife. So this pushes it, and you get 2 fear if there's invaders, which you probably should always put in the land with invaders. Turmoil's Touch. Target spirit may either pay 1 energy or discard a power card from hand to take a minor power into their discard. You may do likewise. Take is a nice keyword, as you, well, I guess it's not really as nice. You don't gain it, so you don't get the choice of 4. You just take the top card from the minor power deck and put it, in this case, into your discard. So it might not synergize with elements, but on the other hand, 2 spirits can get minor powers this way. You have to spend energy or discard a power card to do this, which I guess is the cost for a powerful effect. No pun intended. Twist Perceptions. Add a strife. You may push the invader you added strife to. If you added strife to an explorer town, you can push that invader first with senseless roaming before pushing it with this power. I don't know why that order would technically matter, but when your actions add strife to an explorer town, you may push it, and then you may push the invader you added strife to. Anyway, and there was actually someone in the Discord that was confused because they added a strife to a city, and then they had the option of pushing a city, and it looked weird. Well, again, it says invader. You can push the invader. City is an invader. You can push a city. Neat. Okay. So we have things with minor powers. We have strifed invaders don't ravage. We have push and Incarna. We have add a strife. Not anything that says defend other than strife. Not anything that says deal damage. So, I mean, obviously damage is not mind-shattering song, but only to invaders with strife. So that's why the offense is super low, defense is medium low, control is super high, fear is medium high, but that's because we get fear over here, we get fear over here. All right, so that's that. We also have 3 aspects, so of course we want to check those out. Whoops. Bringer of dreams and nightmares of violence. Oops. So we don't actually see the aspect card. So we don't actually see all of the changes, but one of the things you can kind of see as we click this, other than all the senseless noise I'm just making, setup change. Put 2 presents on your starting board and highest numbered sands. That's the same. Gain 1 energy. Replace Dreams of the Dahan with Bat Scout for raids by Darkness minor power. So you can actually see we have Bat Scout there instead of Dreams of the Dahan. To dream 1,000 deaths is the same. Your powers never cause damage, nor can they destroy anything other than your own presence. When your powers would destroy or deal enough damage to destroy invaders, generate 1, 3, or 5 fear. Instead, this power pushes all explorers towns would destroy. I slightly lied. Technically, it's originally 0, 2, 5, but the aspect changes this to 1, 3, 5. Notes: a single power cannot destroy a given invader more than once. Powers which cause damage via Dahan are affected just like all others. All effects other than damage or destroy work as usual. We have a new rule: Nightmares of Violence and Death. Half of the card plays from your presence track can only be used for power cards with damage or destroy instructions. Well, that sounds bad, but actually, if you look at this, we actually get double the card plays. Instead of 2, it's now 4, but half of them can only be used for power cards with damage or destroy instructions as stated. So, neat. Growth options are the same. Number 1, reclaim cards, gain power card. Number 2, reclaim 1, add a presence at range 0. Number 3, gain a power card, add a presence at range 1. Number 4, add a presence to land with Dahan or invaders at range 4 and gain 2 energy. Starts at 2 energy per turn and 4 card plays per turn. Goes up to 5 energy and 6 card plays total. Gets an air, a moon, and 2 ennies. And we don't have Spirits May Yet Dream anymore, but we still have Night Terrors. At 1 moon, 1 air, 1 fear. At 2 moon, 1 air, 1 animal, plus 1 fear. At 3 moon, 2 air, 1 animal, plus 1 fear. So in total, we lose the ability to look at the top card of the fear deck, and spirits can't gain an element they have at least 1 of. We get double card plays, but only half of them can be used for power cards with damage or destroy instructions. And the fear generation for explorers and towns is increased by 1, so we get extra fear for destroying things. Cool. Also, Bat Scout replaced one of our powers. For each Dahan, 1 damage to a building, or 1 fear gathered up to 2 Dahan. Okay. We also have Keeper of the Forbidden Wilds spreading hostility aspect. And on the setup side, put 1 presence and 1 wilds on your starting board in the highest number jungle. Gain 1 energy. That is different. And special rules. Forbidden Ground remains the same. After you create a sacred site, push all Dahan from that land. Dahan events never remove Dahan to your sacred sites, but powers can do so. But we now have lands hostile to humanity. Your sacred sites may also count as badlands. Choose for each action. So damage dealing at sacred sites is better. Growth options, pick 2. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 are the same. Number 1, reclaim cards, gain 1 energy. Number 2, gain a power card. Number 3, add a presence to land with wilds or presence at range 3 and gain 1 energy. And growth option 4, which previously cost 3, is now free, but is instead gain a fire, move presence at range 1 twice, and then 1 damage at range 0. Which, if your sacred site counts as badlands, this is actually 2 damage, which is neat. The other thing that is not explicitly mentioned but did appear on the physical aspect card, is that the energy on the top track is actually halved rounding up. So 2 becomes 1, 4 becomes 2, 5 becomes 3, etc. So instead of starting at 2 and 1, we start at 1 energy and 1 card play per turn. We go up to 5 energy and 5 cards per turn total. We have a sun, a plant, and a reclaim 1. So yeah, energy's a little harder to get We start with an extra 1, but getting energy's harder. I mean, we gain energy off growth option 3 still, I guess, but and the innate powers are the same. Punish those who trespass. 2 sun, 1 fire, 2 plant, 2 damage, destroy a Dahan. 2 sun, 2 fire, 3 plant, plus 1 damage per sun plant you have. At 4 plant, we split this power's damage however desired between target land and one of your lands. Spreading Wilds. At 2 sun, push 1 explorer from target land per 2 sun you have. 1 plant, if target land has no explorers, add wilds. At 3 plant, this power is +1 range. And at 1 air, this power is +1 range. Cool. Last but not least is Shadows. Darkfire. And you can kind of see this looks vastly different. I probably should not click this because there's a million different aspects, so we'll just not do that. But let's see. Setup. Put 3 presents on your starting board, 2 in the highest number jungle and 1 in land number 5. Gain Unquenchable Flames minor power. Oh, I clicked it. Did not want to click that. So Unquenchable Flames is here. 1 fear, 1 damage to buildings. Invaders do not heal damage at end of turn. And then there's this special symbol. If you have 2 of those, add a Badlands. What does that special symbol mean? We have the new special rule, Darken Fire as 1. You may treat each moon available to you as being fire or vice versa. Choose during each action for each moon fire you have. You may discard or forget powers to grant moon to pay for fire choice events and vice versa. And really what that icon means, you can see over here. It's the bonus that's also granted from this aspect. We have a bonus fire or moon. It's a white fire because it could be a fire or a moon. See? So for Unquenchable Flames, we have a fire and a moon on here, but since these are sort of the same, these automatically give us the threshold. So we always put the Badlands down on Unquenchable Flames. Frightful Shadows elude destruction is also new. The first time each action would destroy your presence, you may push one of those presents instead of destroying it. We no longer have the ability to ignore range. Paying an energy to target a land with Dahan regardless of range. We don't have that ability anymore. Growth options are the same. Number 1, reclaim cards, gain power card. Number 2, gain power card, add a presence at range 1. Number 3, add a presence at range 3 and gain 3 energy. Starts at 0 energy and 1 card play per turn, goes up to 6 and 5 respectively. And the innate power, Darkness Swallows the Unwary, is the same, but now since Moon and Fire are the same, it's a little different looking. At 3 Moonfires, gather an Explorer. At 5 Moonfires, destroy up to 2 Explorers, 1 fear per Explorer destroyed. And at 7 Moonfires, 2 air, 3 damage, 1 fear per invader destroyed by the damage. So, thresholds are easier to hit if they involve moons or fires, and our innates are easier to hit as well. So instead of saying, all right, well, now I need to play a fire card in order to hit a threshold, I'm just gonna click cards. Anything that gives a moon and a fire is doubly great. Whew, words. But we're not done yet because we have Kingdom of Brandenburg, Prussia, additional loss condition none. Escalation land rush on each board with buildings, add a town to a land without towns. Fast start during setup on each board, add a town to land number 3. Surge of colonists, when making the invader deck, put one of the stage 3 cards between stage 1 and stage 2. And efficient, when making the invader deck, remove an additional stage 1 card. So the total deck order is 1-1, 3, 2-2-2-2, 3-3-3-3. 1 fewer deck and a stage 3 card earlier. Fear card distribution is 3-4-3. So only 1 extra card in a fear deck, but the game is shorter, so it's still kind of bigger. And now for this week's scenario, after 20 minutes of gabbing, Power's Long Forgotten. There are sources of power on the island best left undisturbed, their locations deliberately hidden and forgotten. Even with the current threat of the invaders, you would leave them be, except the invader seems to be aware of their existence and are hunting for them. This scenario is notably easier for spirits with good Dahan movement, such as Thunderspeaker. I'm going to read setup next. 4 mysterious locations are added to each board and lands without Dahan. Out of all the locations, a total of 1 per board plus 1 contain a source of power. The remaining locations contain nothing. So with 4 spirits, 4 boards, it's 5 that are sources of power, and 4 mysterious locations to each board, so 16 mysterious locations, 5 of which are sources of power. And rules changes. Whenever a land has 3 Dahan or more in it, the players search it. Whenever a land has 2 invaders or more, the invaders search it, except if we're playing against the French plantation colony, where it now takes 3 invaders or more to search, because France adds more explorers when they explore a land that's empty. But we're not playing France, so we can't do that. When a land is searched, reveal the mysterious location. If it does not have a power source, discard it, otherwise something has been found. Consult the reverse side of this card for what it does. The appropriate entry is highlighted to show which side discovered it. When you find a source of power, you may choose to hold off in using its ability. At the end of the game, you score +2 points for each one you find but never use. But nobody cares about points. Okay, and then the backside is all of this stuff. There's 8 different sources of power. We can only get 5 of them in a single game. And depending on whether the invaders find it first or we find it first, we get the corresponding benefit. So for instance, if a rib bone crusted with unmelting ice is in the game and the invaders find it first, then they get this extra clause that next turn spirits get only 1 card play, which really would hurt us in the late game. But if this is like the first thing they find, it's not really that different than the start of the game is normally. But if we were to find it, then we would have this ability. During the next normal ravage, invaders do -3 damage per land. And we get the option of whether we want to activate this or not. And if we never use it over the course of the game, we get +2 points. Although, generally speaking, it's better to use these because it makes the game easier, right? And you might end up getting more points because you get less blight or whatever. Of course, for this particular one, since it's a single-use thing, it's kind of important to know when you want to use it, the key turn in the game, whatnot. But other ones are ongoing and probably better to activate them earlier rather than later. And again, the way that the invaders find it versus we find it, the invaders just need to have 2 invaders in that land total. So for instance, if the land is empty, they explore, they add 1 explorer, they build, they add a town, that's the 2 invaders, and they immediately search it. But if the land has a town from setup and they explore that land, which adds the explorer, then they immediately search it. So generally speaking, turn 1, they're going to explore mysterious locations and they might get the sources of power before we can even do anything. And that's just how the game works. The only way we can search is if the land has 3 Dahan or more in it, which means that it's kind of to our benefit to try to move Dahan around, which just double checking, but Wandering Voice does not do that. Bringer does have Dahan movement, although we lost the 1 power that did do that for free, but we have 2 different powers that do it. Keeper can push all Dahan from a single land when they create a sacred site, so that makes it really easy to move Dahan around. Also, this pushes Dahan. And then Shadows can just simply gather 4 Dahan, which is easy. And so our focus in this game is probably to try to get as many benefits as possible, or at least prevent the invaders from getting benefits for as long as possible. Which will change our early game actions. We'll probably prioritize Ravages a little less just to try to get these benefits. And if we get enough benefits, the game gets easier. If the invaders get too many benefits, the game is harder. But we'll see what happens. Difficulty 7. 30 minutes in, let's play. Sorry, I like to read things. Maybe someday we'll just include timestamps to when the game starts, so you don't have to listen to my rambling. But I like to read things. Also, this is a 4-spirit game, so bear with me. I've not played 4-handed in a while, and these are 4 spirits. Well, 3 of them I've played before. The 4th one I've not done it. All right, they've already searched, but they found nothing. And they're going to search again, and they found nothing. They're exploring mountains, by the way. I like that this aspect is actually like moving. Also, when you hover over it, it creates a ripple effect. That is cool. I love the attention to detail there. Is this gonna like, yeah, it's gonna bounce around. Cool. Okay, so 2 things we need to look out for. First are the builds. And then second are the lands that already have 1 invader in it that are at risk of getting searched by the invaders, either by a build or by an explorer. Is that all of them? They searched one over there. They searched one over there. There's 4 there. Okay, and then I think that's all. Exclamation points are going to be our bigger priority, honestly. Right. So whenever you create a sacred site, push Dawn from the land. So this growth option can create sacred sites, which is cool. And that allows us to search in the fast phase. Or in the spirit phase, or growth phase, as it were. Probably should start with the spirits that I'm most comfortable with, such as shadows, I guess. So we're absolutely playing Favors Called Due. The question is which land is the best for that. It gathers 4 Dahan. 3 Dahan are needed to search. So, like, while I could try to gather 4 into A1, there's only 2 neighboring Dahan. I could gather 4 into A8. Kind of nice to think about, like, the path the Dahan could take. For instance, if I gather an A8, I could go, like, if we imagine we're just going to gather or push the Dahan over the course of the next several rounds, they go A5, then A1, then A4, then E7, E4, E6, F8, F7, F4, C8, and that would, like, allow us to search most optimally. These 2 would be ignored. We could, if we could somehow gather them here first, then push them all around, that would actually hit those, and then we would just have the Trail of Dahan. That's certainly going to take a lot of time, though, and probably don't want to just have one single set of Dahan traversing the island. We probably want to have 2 or 3 groups that we're going to use for that purpose. I know what Favors Called Due is range 1, so if I wanted to, like, have them start in C2 to gather 3... we could do that, but I don't know. Should be trivial to just gather and explore, so we should be able to stop the A1 build trivially in the fast phase. So let's kind of, like, I guess, do what works generally best when playing super multi-handed, is to focus on one board on each spirit at a time and then expand out as we have a better sense of what's going on. So let's say that I decide I want to search A8 and stop the build in A1. Then there's no more threats on A as far as things can go. I guess technically they could explore the jungles on their explore card, but we can't really get rid of that town fast unless we can get a power card. But since energy is at a premium for shadows early on, it's probably going to make more sense to do growth option 3 for now. This extra power card that we do have is kind of cool. This is range 1 gather. The special rule that says our presence, the first time each action would destroy your presence, push one of those instead of destroying it. Kind of means we probably want to put our presence in lands that are ravaging, as our presence would not be destroyed. Although I guess the ravage action, I assume the ravage is a singular action, not each land is an action, although I'm not actually sure about that one. Hello, Izari. Yes, this icon here is the mysterious location. It means these are where the sources of power could be, and those are our priorities for searching. Anyway, But yeah, do I want to... Like, I could try to gather... What? There's no source of power there. I could use the... What's it called? Concealing Shadows next turn to make sure that a 6 doesn't take damage. But I'm probably just going to gather that Dahan out. So that's not even a consideration. Is there a place I would... Well... I mean, this is range 3. I could go to C3 and do Concealing Shadows there next turn, and that would deal 4 damage, and I don't actually lose my presence, I just push it. So maybe I do that. Concealing Shadows is next turn. Favors Called Due is this turn. And then I just need one more Moonfire. Although the only one that only gets me one is Concealing Shadows, which I don't want to play. Should I do Unquenchable Flames just for fun? I mean, if there is another spirit, namely Keeper, that's gonna deal damage in the slow phase, I could set this up in advance. Don't know yet that that's going to happen because we haven't looked at any other spirit. We're only focusing on our board right now, although I am going over here, so ignore what I just said. But nothing wrong with downgrades. Maybe I'll just play that. And we can use this to stop the build in A1, and that will be fine. And our search is going to be in A8 or A5 if they explore jungle first. Okay. Now let's look at Bringer's board. We have an extra energy from the setup, probably to make up for the fact that Bat Scout, our replacement power, costs an energy. Mountains builds, and then these 3. So we do have 2 powers that move Dahan around. Also have 4 card plays, by the way, but half of them can only be powers that damage or destroy. So it's a bit weird to think about, because normally I'd say, oh yeah, I can only play 2 cards, but actually I can play up to 4 cards if at least 2 of them damage or destroy. So basically if it has the word damage or destroy, it would count. So Predatory Nightmare says damage. This says damage. This does not. This does not. But if I wanted to, I could play my hand on turn 1. That, I don't know how good of an idea that is, though. That would generate 3 fear. We would get all of that. But I definitely want to probably play Bat Scout and Predatory Nightmares to get 3 Dahan into one place. And I can't afford that with my energy income this turn, so if I want to ignore the fact that I can play 4 cards, maybe I want to just gain a power card and go up the energy track. I mean, if I can play 4 cards, I need cards, right? I need cards. I just need cards. So I think I'm just gonna click growth option 3. We do have Column to Night streams though. Maybe we better do that in the fast phase next turn after we gather 4 or 3 into one of these lands. So let's take a look at this. Looking for a moon plant animal. There are no moons. These 2 have air. This one is animal. And anything that says damage is kind of a bonus play. But I don't know how I really feel about these. The other thing about playing many cards is that you need lots of energy, so Gift of Living Energy would help to that. And it doesn't really help with elements, but at the same time, I have a lot of card plays. So maybe I take it to help with the energy. And I could even... I only have 2 presents, right? Yeah, so I don't have 2 sacred sites yet. This can only benefit me 2 energy at most. This could benefit another spirit 3 energy, but... Could also take a defend, but we're not really going to focus on ravages for a bit, honestly. Blood draws predators, needs invaders to actually be destroyed, which requires help from another spirit or for Dahan to counterattack. And then this is fear, but let's just take the energy. E7 is the bigger threat as far as the explorer goes. If they explore the jungles, that would immediately search, but we can't search it fast. So I want to search it first. So I think I want to just grow in there, because I want to be in a land that has 3 Dahan for Calm Midnight Streams. And if they do end up searching the jungles, I could pivot to E4 instead and put 3 Dahan in there, which isn't as many Dahan, but I guess I can't really get more than 3 in there anyway. So play the ones that move Dahan, and I could just play that, because this one deals damage, this one deals damage. Does it count if I play a power card that says damage but not actually use the damage side of it? I think I'm going to hold on that until I get a sacred site, though. And we're definitely not playing this until next turn, so I think that's my plays there. And we do get 2 fear this turn. Now for Wandering Voices. Wandering Voice? Wandering Voice. Now for Voice. 3 different lands that are at risk, and F4 is already building. This is fast. That is slow. When your actions add strife, you may push it. So if I can get the Incarna into F4, we can strife that invader. Because the Incarna adds strife. Strife that town, strife that explorer. And both of those, when your actions add strife, and we push it. So we can push this town out, we can push this explorer out. That requires us to play 3 air, though, which... I mean, all of our cards have air. If I degrowth option 3, I get an air, so I would get that. Strifing this town and putting in F6 is actually pretty tempting. The Han not participating in Ravage Claws might be an issue, but if our Incarna is actually not adjacent, then they would still participate. The only issue is they would build a city in F6. But if I were to use Twist Perceptions, I could still strife it. This one is more for the Ravage turn, I guess. So I'd have to play Turmoil's Touch or whatever this power card is and hope that it's free. I kind of like that. Free card that grants air is ideal. All of these are free. Nice. So air is big. You only get 1 air here, and there's the air on growth option 3, of course. But then, like, other than the air, it's kind of like weird amounts of moon, fire, plant, sun. Moon, sun is probably more important because these things benefit from it. This is only just to empower the Incarna, which I think you only have to do once, right? Power is not a word. Incarna is not a word. I just wonder if you destroy your Incarna and you add it back, is it added back not empowered? That I do not know. Concepts? Incarna. It is a permanent change even if the Incarna leaves the island and returns later. An Incarna can only become empowered if it is on the island and not yet empowered. Okay. While Incarna is on the island, it may also count as any or all of the pieces shown on it. All Incarna may count as presence and maybe other things as well. Okay, so all Incarna may count as presence. For Incarna, which may count as sacred sites, while counting it as sacred site, it must also count as presence. Is still only one piece, then does not count as two presence. Okay. Well, okay. So all Incarna counts as sacred sites. The reason this specifically says it may count as sacred sites is because it's not always the case that it may count as sacred sites, but all Incarna may count as presence anyway. So there. Okay. Neat. Anyway, back to what we were saying. So moon, sun is ideal. Twilight fog is moon, sun. Also adds a strife, which means we can push the Explorer Town as added to. Right? Is there any reason for me not to take Twilight Fog? I mean, we do need to empower our Incarna at some point, so we would need to get Fire Plant. This gives me Fire Plant, but you technically already have Fire Plant. We don't need more than one. I mean, Lure of the Unknown is also a really good power, but that said. This also pushes the Dahan, which could be used to search. This also pushes or gathers Dahan, so it could be used to search. But no, it has to be Twilight Fog, right? Has to be. Fits the bill for everything we want. So the Incarna may count as sacred sites, so I could make a sacred site here, but I could also just not. Otherwise, this requires sacred site targeting a land with strife. I mean, what? Our plan was to do twist perceptions on the city. So I feel like we need to keep the sacred site here if our Incarna is going to move. So we don't have to do this. We could do this instead, which also adds a strife. There is 2 Dahan in here. I would kind of like the Dahan to stay in there to kill the city. So I'd rather use this to add strife to the city. So where does that put us then? We have 2 moon, we have 1 sun, so we have 1 damage to only strifed invaders. And we have 2 fear. If we had 1 more air, we could have destroyed an invader with strife. But that's not this turn. That's a future turn. Seems like it should be easy to hit that at some point, though. I mean, I guess we're limited to 5 air at most, so we don't get in any 4 card plays at most, plus the air that's here. So maybe it's not as free to hit, but I mean, could be free to hit. So we push the Incarna, strife the town, push it to F6, strife the Explorer, put it not in F2, not F7 or F8. I guess F5 then? And then that takes care of those, and then F2 is still the issue. I mean, I guess in theory I could strife that city and push it out. And then strife the city in F6, but I'd rather keep the Dawn in there, but what can you do? Okay. So that's that. Now for board C. Builds in C5 or C3 and C7. C3, this can build, that's fine. We're doing the shadows thing there that we said earlier, so that's fine. C7, there's nothing in there. So it's okay if that builds and ravages. But we could do growth option 3 and 4. Move the Sacred Site over to C7. 1 damage at range 0, but my Sacred Site as a Badlands actually kills the town, and it stops the city build. And then I could do the same thing, except not actually need to move the presence. And then we just kill that town that builds there, and that ravage is solved. I mean, I could do that. Main downside is largely that my energy is kind of terrible. And normally we would like to get up the energy track, which I probably still want to do. But the numbers are halved, and if I do this, I don't get a power card. I would like 2 card plays, but then I don't really have a card to play for next turn at that rate. I mean, I can't really play Towering Wrath unless it's my only power. Does it make sense to say it's my only power? I mean, this does say 3 damage if there is a Sacred Site in that land. I could use that in C7 after moving the presence over, kills everything in there, and then use this to move presence around, kill an explorer. I mean, I can consistently kill explorers, right? Like, that's kind of what's happening, is I can consistently stop builds, or 1 build per turn. Sort of. At the expense of not gaining power cards. If I take Sun, and I take this, then I take that. We actually hit this, don't we? No, we don't. We don't have 2 plants. Never mind. I mean, we're always adding presence, right? Add presence to wilds or your presence. This is the only wilds, and that's the only presence. I could use this to put my presence somewhere else, which is interesting, but other downside is I don't get to push explorers out with spreading wilds, which I guess is another means of stopping builds. I mean, we did say we could prop Swither, but we could also Unquenchable Flames. Add the Badlands in C7 and then set this up to move in the fast phase. And my presence, my Sacred Site plus the Badlands is 3 damage, kills the city. And I could just do Towering Wrath this turn to deal 2 damage to kill the town. I don't know how I feel about that. There's also the thing that I want to use my Sacred Sites to move Dahan so that they can search. And putting a Sacred Site in C7 is not productive to that end. So maybe I go back to the original plan, let C7 Blade. I could kill the city in C2 in the slow phase, but if they explore in the sands, they still explore that anyway. And it feels like, I guess, wetlands is the only safe explore. If they explore jungles, there's 3 lands that are unsafe. So jungle's the worst. If they explore sands, it's just 2. No, it's... Oh no, yeah, that's not built, or that's not an issue. Yeah, so it's just the 1. So we're crossing our fingers hoping that we're not getting jungle explore then. Does it make sense, but Sacred Side in A8 kill this town and stop that search? That could be mean. That could be worthwhile. Kind of vacates us from board C. This targets jungle wetlands for blight removal. C5 is good for that. E4. That's it. I don't know. I think stopping this search is productive, though, considering how bad jungles are. So maybe I do actually want to do this then. Since I'm not gaining a power card, I guess I could do this to gain a power card. Energy will suck for now. I'm hoping things get better. I guess, well, no. We could use, like, Gift of Living Energy on Keeper, but that seems weird. Alright, but let's make the Badlands. Now is the Badlands icon, and then damage. Yes, there. Cool. So that's no longer an issue. So Towering Wrath we could still use to kill the town in C7. If we Unquenchable Flames first, 2 damage still kills the city. But again, I don't really care about this Ravage. We're no longer in range of a Blight there. Oh, right. Well, I think I was saying I was going to play these 2 cards, though, didn't I? But this seems silly. Maybe I do Sacrosanct? This does push 2 to Han. Range 1. I mean... Our plan was favors Kaldu in A5 to gather 3. Or... Well, no, that wasn't the issue. Or no, I guess it was A8, wasn't it? Uh-huh. Interesting. I think there's probably still some utility there. Okay, let's move on. This is now 1 hour into the stream. We've just finished playing cards. 30 minutes of reading the scenario and cards, and then 30 minutes for our first turn. Kind of says a lot about how fast this game's gonna be. Okay, so Incarna moving. Neat. Night Terrors. Gather. I guess this is really the only spot. Okay. So we push 2 to Han. I assume the space between this is I can always push 2 to Han. It's just the ore is about the wilds. Land without Blade. Could use that to slow down that explorer, but I guess it goes before Favors Called Due, doesn't it? I don't really have good lands for this either. Guess I'm just using it to put a wilds down. I mean, wildsing A5 is fine. Okay. Mountains build. Exploring jungles. Alright, so they did end up in the jungles after all. But at least it's only 2 searches. Nothing. Nothing. Alright, we're lucky. They got 4 searches and none of them had anything. Now, because I'm a math person, I am actually kind of interested. What is the probability of that happening? So... if Excel will ever open up. So the first one, there was 11 out of 16. Second one was 10 out of 15. Then it was 9 out of 14. Then it was 8 out of 13. So that's an 18% chance that they didn't get any benefits yet. 18% chance. A little worse than 1 out of 5. So that's cool. Alright, so what are points of no return here? Power card. And that's it. Target spirit may also gain 1 energy. A lot of us are energy starved right now. But Keeper is power card starved. I feel like I just want to give this to myself because I'm power card starved. So we're looking for sun plant mainly. Well, no plants. This is the only sun. Call to migrate though. Like, I'm just clicking on this. Like, just no reason to not even consider anything else here. Or no reason to consider anything else. This automatically searches 2 lands. So, like, no reason to just not do that. Okay. I said no and not too many times. 2 damage, destroy a Hun. A8 is honestly a good place for that. Push Explorer, add wilds. So they didn't explore C4 because of the wilds that was already there. I think we don't care about pushing this Explorer out as there's not really... I guess I could... Oh... I could push 1 out from here and then do 2 damage in here to kill something, but this, I guess the other point of no return is the revealing of things, which this does. But if I wanted to do that in A8, but also do punish in A8, that's gonna kill Dahan. I'd rather not kill Dahan. So let's get this Explorer out. Nope, don't do that. Don't do that, that's also wrong. Okay then, I guess I'm not killing 2 Explorers because that's gonna be bad. Okay. So just kill that Explorer, that's fine. Now gather 4 Dahan here. And now we search and we get nothing. Neat. The other thing that searches is Predatory Nightmares and Bad Scout. And since they did end up in E7 after all, we're gonna do this in E4. So that gathers, this pushes from a sacred site. Oh, I don't have range here. Did I screw this up? Crap. Crap on a stick. I screwed that up. Not only that, this has to be a land with invaders. I could use this to get the town out, but I can't actually search this after all because I screwed up. Well, that stinks. I think we're still gonna gather 2 and then use this 2 damage there. You can go in E5, put that in E4. And now we're gonna have to need some assistance in getting Dahan in E4. Push a Dahan. Can we use that? Probably could have done that. I mean, we would ideally put this on an invader, but I mean, this was always happening here. We're not pushing that city. Oh, you can also see that this Dahan is floating as it doesn't participate in Ravages. That's cute. In lands with or adjacent to the Incarna, if Strife is present, Dahan did not participate. So this Dahan satisfies both clauses. It's in with adjacent, with or adjacent to Incarna, in a land with Strife. So it does not participate. It's floating. It doesn't care. I don't know whether that's the delusion or the tumult, but striping an invader feels like it's more useful than pushing a single Dahan unless I were to combo that to search. Let's hold off for a sec. So on this board, C2 is still at risk of searching. Spreading Wilds doesn't help with that. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to do anything there. I guess, like, is it going to be better to set up Bringer than it is to try to do anything else meaningful? Maybe? So say I do this. And then I do this. This does search. Okay. Guess that's nothing. Wow. 7 out of 16 are nothing. Okay, so then we can just do Calm Midnight Streams in E7 or E6. I can't see numbers. E6. So still Strife that. Don't move it. And then generate Fear. And assert dominance. And then have range to really anything meaningful. I guess I still put it in a thing that has a mysterious location or whatever. Crops wither. Range 0. Only thing I can do is convert city to town. I kind of like that. So Bringer is going to do Concealing Shadows in C3. We know that much. So that Ravage is fine. We would like that to just go off, that to go off. We don't care about those. That's covered by Strife. Don't care about that, don't care about that. Okay. Builds. That's building. That's building. 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 But what are the risks for searching? That one. Just that one. Okay. So anything we could do to stop C2 from exploring would be nice. So isolating C2 or killing the city fast, which is highly unlikely. Could get to 3 card plays and 0 energy. Seems really bad. That said, if I were to play my hand, we get middle growth option or a middle threshold, so we could destroy 2 explorers. Not really a good land for that though. I guess A6. But Concealing Shadows is always being played. My Sacred Site already exists in A8. If I were to move my presence in and out, I would probably push the on that way, wouldn't I? Does it push all or push 2? Push all. Is there any reason for me not to just do that? I get +1 energy off this. I can play these 2 cards still. Call to Migrate is really good. We could search all of the lands over here for free. And then there's still Wetlands Blight Removal. I guess I could do that in C5. So if I... Let's not do Shadows first. Let's do this. Take Sun, and then move this presence. And what we're going to do is move in, move out. We formed a land with a Sacred Site, so all the Dahan vacate. And we reveal... Aha! Yes! We got one. We discovered a Lizard Scale, perpetually burning. Damage dealing powers granting fire do +1 damage. No reason not to use that. We don't care about points. So if the invaders had gotten this, powers granting fire don't damage or destroy invaders unless the spirit spends an additional energy per power. Which would stink, but here we get extra damage. So Towering Wrath deals extra damage. Also, I do damage at range 0. Should I have done that? I just realized I should have put my presence over here. Oh, I guess, yeah, I could have done that and moved that presence over. Yeah, so my damage is now not doing anything. I can't really undo, right? I can. And that's absolutely a bug, right? Because I should not be able to undo my presence movement. Okay. So, Spreading Hostility Keeper. Spreading Hostility Keeper and Powers Long Forgotten. I should not be able to undo my presence movement On growth, option 4. After revealing a source of power or mysterious location. Yeah. I need to talk to someone. I already explained what happened. Okay, cool. Should I exploit this bug then? Wait, what happened to my other presence? It just undid my presence? It undid my presence. Well, at least I can do this. At least I don't lose that presence. But that would have been bad if... I guess I'm not actually killing the town, so actually no, I don't want to do that. So no, I don't want to do that. I'm exploiting the bug, but I don't think there's really a good place for my presence to go anyway. Just do my original plan then. Okay. Damage doesn't do anything. So then we play the 2 cards, and that's all I can do. I don't really get good elements. I can still put a wilds down at range 2, and that's literally it. Okay. So, but we are calling to migrate, so we're going to search these 2 lands for free. Concealing Shadows, we said, is happening over there. Unquenchable Flames could be used. Could not be used. Maybe I gain a power card this turn, because I don't need the +3 energy per turn, or +3 energy this turn. I'm playing Concealing Shadows. I can gain 1 energy this turn and then do 3 card plays next turn, and then I have energy sustain. Let's do that. I'm not gonna be able to destroy explorers, I guess, if I do that. Elemental Boon? Is it ever not Elemental Boon? Like, Elemental Boon is, like, super strong when you have 4 spirits, as you can basically decide whose elemental threshold you need to hit. These other ones don't give me many Moon Fire. This gives me... Well, these 2 give me air. Jungle Sands Defend, I guess, could be good, but no, it's Elemental Boon. I'm just clicking Elemental Boon. Elemental Boon is broken. This is range 1 presence. I guess I could use this to make a Sacred Site. This presence is going to move, so Sacred Site there is not really going to do much. Let's do it here. And assume that Elemental Boon does something. We just need 1 Moonfire. So literally Moon or Fire, doesn't matter. Most likely it's just going to be Moon, but we could use it on Keeper. Sun Plant gets us Punish, although not terribly likely to do much, but the Sun would allow us to push an Explorer. Maybe it's not going there. Bringer. Again, you can play many cards that say damage or destroy. You already have a place for Call of Midnight Streams. You could set up a Sacred Site in E7. Could reclaim 1, I guess. Don't think reclaim 1 is that useful. just keep gaining powers. Gaining energy would be nice. Don't need that much energy right now. I do want a sacred site though, so let's see. Moon animal is most important. Infested aquifers would. This says damage. This says destroy. This says strife, but that doesn't matter. Honestly, elemental boon with whatever major power we get off on midnight streams should be fine, right? You already have the animal there. Mountain wetland disease. All of these cost energy also, by the way. But we're getting to 3 energy, so that should be fine. Do I want strife for whatever reason? I could really strife in E5, which is meaningless. Scour the land is a lot of fear if I target 3 towns. Like, if it 3 towns is 9 fear and all explorers is 1 fear. Maybe it's just that. It does add a blight. It'd be kind of nice to do it in E5. That's strifing? Or that's blighting? Well, we could make it fast. Yeah, maybe we do that. We will need to play Dread Apparitions. No, we could be booned. So this, and I can't even play it because it doesn't deal damage, and these 2 don't deal damage. So another air makes this fast. So Elemental Boon over here is a good idea. A moon gives me an extra fear. Unless I lose the moon. Normally you would want to gain the elements before or use the thresholds before. But in this case it doesn't, I don't think it will matter. Okay, so this is gonna be like a destruction, but it's also 3, 6, 7 fear, which is nice. Okay, now Wandering Voice. Don't want the Incarna to be close to F6. We want that Ravage to have the Dahan counterattack. The Incarna does put a strife down. So we could strife the city in F2 if the Incarna moves there. All we need is 1 air to do that. Our things aren't gonna move Dahan. Am I still gonna click this, or do I want like double presence and go up energy track? I mean, if I do double presence this turn and double presence next turn, I can actually get to the Reclaim 1. The cards don't cost that much energy. The sun or moon could be useful, I guess. But all my cards pretty much have sun and moon on them right now. They don't need it. I mean, technically, these benefit based off of the suns and moons that I have. But say that I play... Let's say Exile Confusion, but I don't really need that. Turmoil's Touch. Frightful Keening. I guess this costs an energy to gain. Sorry, take a minor power. Because if I play these two, I don't have any energy left. I feel like this has to be on Bringer, by the way. Because we need a lot of minor powers there. But I would have to discard a power card from hand, which means I'd be reclaiming next turn. I guess getting to reclaim one next turn doesn't really do me that good, because I would just reclaim one and play 2 cards anyway. Maybe that's okay. Maybe I just reclaim all next turn. This creates a sacred site, which doesn't really matter except for a mind-shattering song. Don't really have strife anywhere else, though. And our Incarna may count as a sacred site already. And literally the Incarna is the only thing that really matters for, for most of this. So maybe just spread is good, because our growth option 1 moves Incarna to land with your presence. So put a presence in a jungle that's going to ravage, and I can just strife the city there. This is range 3? I will just blindly assume that we can do something in A3 next turn. And then range 1 presence. Also A2, because that's the city. Not that. Nope, not that. Not that. Okay. We have 2 sun, 1 moon. So 1 fear, 2 damage to invaders with strife only. And we can move our Incarna once. Alright. So the point of no return is the major power, and that's going to dictate elemental boon. I don't think we use this first, because I could get a moon power with Midnight Streams, and elemental boon could then give me a moon. I could lose the animal, but if I lose the animal, it doesn't affect the tier 1 anyway. So I'm pretty sure I just call it Midnight Streams first. So so how does this work? So if you forget this power, gain energy equal to Dahan. So the 3, and you may play the major power immediately paying its cost. Paralyzing Fright is right there. Dream of the Untouched Land is also right there. But this threshold is trivial. We lose the moon animal. We gain an air earth. I would just need 1 more earth to hit the threshold, and we skip all actions somewhere. Range 1 sacred site. Skipping the build in A3 is probably really valuable for that. And the 8 fear is really valuable. Could put a lot of presence down. Wilds down too. But this is more thematic. So forget this. Play this. Boon for the earth to hit this threshold. for the moon to hit this threshold and this threshold. And then you got the air for paralyzing fright. Moon fire doesn't do anything over here now. So I don't think it really matters. I'll take an animal, I guess, just for kicks. So night terrors, paralyzing fright, scour the land, go into E2 because whatever. Gift of living energy. This is 3 energy to another spirit or 2 energy to myself. I could put it on Wandering Voice and not reclaim all, but is it actually Keeper? Because Keeper's energy is just crap. Maybe. Hold on that for a sec. Push Incarna. Okay. Concealing Shadows. And you could stop the E7 build. No reason not to. Stop the C1 build. Can't reach that far. Don't go there. Come. So gift of living energy, the only question mark. Honestly, energy seems a bit better than it was a second ago for Bringer. I think I just throw this on Keeper, since Keeper's energy is crap. Okay, first event card. Hour and a half into the stream. The Frontier Calls. Explore actions add plus Explorer to lands without buildings. That's really bad. Lair in untamed lands. On each board, add beasts to a land without buildings or blight. Seek out new grounds. On each board, gather 1 or 2 Dahan into a land without Dahan setup symbols. That's actually kind of nice for this scenario, as the mysterious locations are all lands without Dahan setup symbols. But yeah, the first one sucks. Beasts to a land without buildings or blight. Where are we at? This board. That one. I don't really know. No buildings or blight is a bit silly. Let's throw it in the land with the Explorer, I guess. And then throw this one in there. And then this, but it's on each board. Is there any place that we could search? I don't think we really have partial Dahan coverage there. Call to Migrate moves 3 around. Those are all fast. That's not going to move Dahan. That's not moving Dahan. And the plus Explorer means that all those wetlands are probably at risk now, which sucks. It's either wetlands or sands. The sands is also at risk. Ugh. Oh well, at least I got 1. Maybe there's a fear card that says move to Han. Just double checking if there's any other mountains ravage where moving to Han would make sense. I guess if we were to kill everything in F6, does it have Dahan setup symbols? It does not, so I can't actually do that. F2 should be a fine space. I think this is fine. We're gonna move the Incarnate out of there in the growth, so that Ravage will happen and that Strife will then do something, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I don't really want to move to Han in there if they're going to just search it right away. It's the only other thing, though, because we searched 3 of the 4. I guess the E3 to Han are dying. Board A. We're just going to scoop these 2 up. No real reason to move them into there. I guess, I mean, if we're forced to move one, I want those to Han to stay there. I don't want to Han to move in there, so I'm just going to move. I'm going to leave that one there. Maybe not, because the event could convert it. Maybe I'll just take that one, then. I could use a sacred site on Keeper to force a search. Sands would auto search, wetlands would auto search. The sands is not guaranteed auto search. In fact, they're not even doing anything there. But I would have to, like, somehow get a sacred site in the neighboring lands. Which is difficult when there's buildings, explorers, blight. I guess I could just save the Han from C1, which means C2. Don't take that one. Fear card says each player chooses a different land with Dahan and each 1 damage. Different land with Dahan and each 1 damage. F6 is a good place as that will kill both buildings. There's no builds or preventing with this, right? We took the Dahan out of C1. Whoops. Keeper's Presence is a Badlands, but there's no buildings in there or Dahan. Surprise. Kill that explorer. They're not building in there. Kill everything off in there if I deal damage in there. Honestly, not really very many good choices. Let's just make sure everything dies in there. Make sure that explorer doesn't do something bad. Make sure this explorer doesn't do something bad. Okay, now Ravages. Is it asking because of this? Yeah. Go in C2, I guess. I don't really know why it's asking me. Just to choose for me. Blight, Blight, Blight. Jungle build. Oh, stage 3, by the way, not even stage 1. So they explore both sands and wetlands, so they got all of the things that we're worried about. Okay. They got that sands. The invaders have discovered a loop of twisted bronze set with deep red stones. For purposes of explore and build, invaders in any sands are considered to be in all sands. Okay. Well, that stinks. They get... Whoops. Clicked that too fast. They got a rib bone crusted with unmelting ice, so next turn spirits get only 1 card play. They get this one. Oh my god, what a bad turn. The invaders have discovered a spear-like pillar of sunlight too hot to approach. Now on each board in the land with the most buildings, minimum 1, destroy all Dahan and spirit tokens, add a blight. On each board. So C7, and that's a cascade. I mean, all those lands are crap anyway. A2 or A6? This is a cascade. We're blighting the island, by the way. Just lose this presence. We lose the disease. I don't know where that went. E2, I guess. Blighted island. On blight. Yeah. Intensifying exploitation. Ongoing starting next turn. During ravage actions, invaders deal +2 damage per land. God. Okay. F2 or F5? This loses my Incarna. Since I have a power that cares about Incarna, I guess it has to be F5. It does lose the Strife, but that's a little less impactful. Man, that event was bad. And nothing there. Still ongoing, by the way. Yikes. So they got 3 sources of power and the Blighted Island effect, and we can only play 1 card next turn. This effect is done at least, and the sands are kind of really hard to deal with because for purposes of explore and build, invaders in any sands are in all sands. Okay. Okay. Spend energy. You get absorb corruption. Discard. You get sucking ooze. Neat. Is there a better place for Call to Migrate since I can't scoop 2 lands with this now? Don't have range there. I think I'm just gonna keep with this plan. I guess I don't have range. Oh, this is Keeper. I guess that explains the range issue. I was gonna scoop these. They stole that one. Wait, man. And also, every Ravage is now +2 damage, which is really bad. So I can't even just leave single Explorers behind ever again? This is only turn 2, by the way. Turn 2 and I already feel disgusted and I want to rage quit this game. It's not over yet. We're only getting 5 blight. That's not a lot of blight. Bear in mind, this is only Brandenburg, Prussia. There's no other changes to rules other than escalation. The only extra benefit they have is that, and we have extra damage dealing fire powers, but no fire this turn. It's okay. Just fine, turn 2, yes. Scoop A1 or C4? C4 does have wilds. I think I do A1 then. Nothing. Okay. Get rid of that blight, I guess. Range 2, wilds. Is there like any land I could even hit with this? That one? I can't push the explorers out. Only one card play next turn also. Hope it's a good card. This is a turn where everyone just gets a major power because that's the only way to make one card play impactful. I was going to strife the town in F5, but that's 4 damage in there after strifing that. It's like barely anything. Okay, I guess if I'm putting a presence down, this goes in land with wilds or my presence. So, like, where would the wilds do something that I can actually see? It's just these 2 lands. I could push all the Dahan out of here if I put a Sacred Site there, but I probably need to utilize my damage this turn as well, somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. Which I can't really get my presence into a jungle to deal damage there effectively. One sec. Sorry, mom texted me. She gets priority. So what was this? This is 2 damage, 1 fear. I mean, I could kill a town with that. Pushed. Actions add stripes to explore town and they push it. Not sure that's impactful either. I mean, I guess like the only thing that really makes sense is to put Incarna. I guess I could stop the city build here. I was gonna do something to the town there, but If I can get an extra Dahan in F2, this would be fine to put in F2. And yes, I know these Dahan aren't participating in Ravage, but this Incarna was going to move to A3. I think I'm probably still going to do that, even though I can only play one card. I could do Reclaim 1. Still play one card and not move my Incarna. I guess I could do this and then just not have F2 actually Ravage, since can't really do much. I mean, I still have to deal 2 damage, I guess. Maybe I should still just kill that town. Okay, whatever. Kill the town. Town's dying anyway. And then back to the question about this wild. It's either A5 or A1. I guess it's going to be A1 as there's Dahan there that I could use to push somewhere else. Okay. Only one card play. No, I kind of want my Dahan enough to deal damage. Oh, I guess I can still move my Incarna with this, don't I? Because, like, every card I have has air, except for Sucking Ooze that I got randomly. So you still do 1 Incarna movement. Strifing C1 doesn't do that good, though, as that is 3 damage in there. Thanks, Blake card. Honestly, major power with shadows is probably ideal. Because I can get to 3 energy. Power Storm. Yes. That is actually tempting, though. If we get a really good major power, we could repeat it. But that's reliant on us getting a really good major power. So I guess that means we're waiting to see what the other spirits do. So major on Bringer. We'll only have 3 energy. I mean, if I could reclaim and play Paralyzing Fright, that would be cool, except I can't afford that ever. But I am gonna try to get a good major here. 3 energy or less. No. Yeah, I can't afford any of these other than Savage Transformation. Wandering Voice. Problem is, you can only get the 2 energy. Not too many 2 energy majors. I mean, Savage Transformation is one of them. Bringer or Keeper could get something played. Two damage, and either add 3 wilds or move up late. And we could repeat it. It's not a lot of damage. Does it stop? This is range 2 Sacred Sight, though. If C4 turns into Sacred Site, we could stop the C1 Ravage being an issue. I think I'm going to stick to my original plan on Wandering Voice. Even though I can only play one card this turn anyway. Because I do want to strife this town in A3. That stops another blade. Stops it really effectively. A lot of those powers don't really do anything for this turn. The major is not going to work well. So let's do that. And given that these Dahan aren't going to do anything on the Ravage, pushing that town out could do something, but then again, all of these... Like, E7 will Ravage, which defeats the purpose. E1, A4, A2 are building, so I guess I'm not moving that town. Could just make it not participate in Ravage so it maintains its strife. Anything else I could do that would be impactful? This gives Moon Sun. That also gives Moon Sun. This one's probably better, honestly. I mean, it has to be this for Keeper. Has to be. Do I just forget Towering Wrath? It does have fire on it. Actually, that's said. Okay, the other one doesn't have fire. Or at least it's not discarded yet. Sacrosanct Wilderness will be better with that power as well. I don't want to forget these powers. Let's forget Boon and Growing Power for no reason. Okay, so the majors, the other ones, they didn't have fire. No. Then put another presence down, make this a Sacred Site so that I can use this in C1. So then Power Storm we could do on Thickets Erupt. We could do Unlock the Gates. The double Explorers means that this is not really gonna work well this turn. Now let's just do Power Storm. And ditch... Let's ditch a unique power. I feel like we're not going to use Favors Call do that much anymore. There's not many lands left, and we have another power that's pretty good. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's the decision where I lose the game. I don't know. It's impossible to know. Sacred Site over here. Power Storm. And then the only major you could do is Savage Transformation. Which is okay. Would I rather do Dread Apparitions this turn? Almost certainly not, as I would only get 2 defend, which is not helpful at all anywhere. Honestly, I'd rather forget Dread Apparitions. Irresistible Call maybe would be a worthwhile investment down the road. Gather a million things. But I'm just gonna do Savage Transformation and forget Dread Apparitions. Because I'm stupid. But I can't play it. Why can't I play it? Please tell me it's not because it doesn't say damage or destroy. I mean, that doesn't really matter what option I pick there, but I guess, like, it doesn't matter if I forget something else. Well, that's really bad, actually. That is an even worse bug. Spirits get only one card play. I mean, I guess the logic here is that if I only have one card play, then one half of my card play, so one half play, can only be used for damage or destroy, but that seems bad. So I feel like that's technically not what the aspect doesn't even technically say that, right? Card plays on your bottom presence track grant twice as many plays during the spirit phase. These extra card plays can only be used for power cards with damage or destroy instructions. Obviously the wording is different here for the purposes of implementing this digitally. But if the logic is I only get one card play, so one half of my play can only be used for that, that's not the same intention as the original card that says the extra card plays can only be used for stuff. So I would put a bug in, but I already put a bug in. Is it possible my bug was already dealt with? Nope. Unfortunate. Well, I guess Bringer's not playing a card this turn. So things are even worse. Also, this is inland, which I missed. So I can't even use that in C1. Well, that still stops 2 builds. So what ravages are bad? That one. Not that one. That one. Really that one. Push Incarna. Going to strafe that city seems fine. I'm not even in a land with invaders, but that's kind of my bad. I gotta put my presence somewhere else. Maybe I should do that. Yep, come on. Undo presence, put in land with invaders. E4. Can't play that still. Okay, but now I can do Night Terrors. None. Strife the city. Power Storm for thickets. And just stop 2 builds with this. This can remove a blight. I mean, putting wilds down would probably be better, but saving blight, it's not even that meaningful, honestly, but whatever. I can use spreading wilds on the lands. Distant exploration. During the explore step, invaders explore +1 distance. That's not really doing anything. Grim Toll on each board. Choose land with disease. Net land 2 damage to invaders and 2 damage to Han. I don't think we have any more disease. Oh, I guess we still do. Fierce Mian. 1 fear per land with invaders where Dahan outnumber buildings. I guess I could have killed the explorer since I'm not doing anything to that city. Emigration accelerates. Each player removes an explorer from a coastal land. That does stop a build. Stops 2 builds. No, it doesn't. Hold on. Sands is still building regardless. Let's not forget that Sands is building regardless. I was entirely incorrect when I put... I guess removing that blade's okay because it's still building, but... Sands is building regardless. So stop this build. That's the only other build we can stop. I guess still removing it from the Blight land so that it's easier to deal with by strifing. Probably makes sense. Get rid of that explorer because then it's easier to deal with that by strifing as well. And then the cascade here. That can go in F2, that's okay. Terror level 2. And now the order super matters because every Sands is building. And it's building in order of, let's see, it's only 1 city in there. So it's going to do town, town, city, town, city, town, city, town. So let's try to, let's put the town here. That makes that easier to deal with. Town here makes that easier to deal with. City in the land that already has, oh, I guess that's never gonna build anyway. That's fine. But it's still gonna be two cities, 2 towns. So what is going to be easier to deal with? The answer might surprise you. Nothing. Probably this will be easier to deal with because Keeper. If we were to reclaim all and just spam thickets. Power Storm and thickets. I mean, if I reclaim all, I take thickets and sacrosanct. I mean, it's overkill, but I don't know. Problem is this only deals 2 damage itself. I don't have plant. Reclaim all. I would probably still grow, but if I were to not make it, if I were to not add a presence, but instead move my presence to make a Badlands. Doing that here would just deal 2 damage and then thickest would be 3 damage. And then I could repeat thickets somewhere else. But I wouldn't have range somewhere else. Also, the wetlands are building. This is only the Sands, but it's a Sands wetlands build. Oh, God. All right, I'm just going to say that F8 is a better place for no other reason than there's nothing else in there, so if I ignore that land, it doesn't matter. Okay, then the wetlands build, and the wetlands are just trash. And they explore sands, because why not? Why the heck not? The escalation is on each board with buildings, add town to a land without towns. So I'm just going to click mountains if I can. I guess that has wild, so I kind of like to preserve that. Keeper land is probably fine. Keeper land? Or not, that's not even keeper land. Bringer land? Is that even fine? Oh no, it's sands. What am I talking about? Jungle? Not that one. This one? Surprised that they're not just coming out of the sands like sandmen. I guess they just did that there. Sort of. Okay. So how many blight the next turn? 12 plus 3. Oh god. Strifing the town A2 is probably the best bet with this, just because that means I don't have to worry about that ravage. I could push it. Honestly, pushing A1 is probably... no, because then they will build if they decide to. Not A4. I mean, I guess A3 would just preserve the strife on it. It's pretty much the only reason to do that is to preserve the strife on it. Range 2, land has no explorers, add a wilds. I could do it there, do it there. There's a really good spot. Because bear in mind, there's still one source of power left. So I think the plan here was move this over to here and deal damage there. Although that said, that plan is a bit shot because they explored sands. I think it's still my best bet. Play these two powers. Sacrosanct there would probably be the best plan. Here is Reclaim All. It's just going to be minor, probably. We're playing Power Storm. You're not going to have 3 air, so the repeat's not going to work. Anything that gives Moonfire is good. Add wilds. Fear? Let's just take Moonfire. Power Storm. Do I do Elemental Boon, though? Does that do anything? Plus damage would be really good. 2, 4, 5 damage kills everything in A7, and then 4 damage somewhere else. Might be good enough. Kills everything in C5. I could dig that. Also should remember that damage, that powers that grant fire dealing damage deals extra damage, but I mean... Oops. There's this one that was the most recent consideration, but those weren't fire cards. Okay. Unquenchable Flames is therefore really good. But we're not playing that. Haven't played that yet. I have not played that yet. Wait. Reclaim 1 is probably the best bet here. Stop a ravage and a build. E1? E6? Honestly, just spam Paralyzing Fright. I guess I only get one card, but I can play Savage Transformation, so I have that going for me, which is nice. I only have one Earth, so getting Element's Boon would not help for the extra fear, but that's probably fine. And then here... could be Major this turn. Reclaim 1 for Twilight Fog? Doesn't seem that good. Pushing my Incarna around to put a bunch of strife down might be meaningful. I think I go for Major, though. I get an air. Things that deal damage with fire are good. So instruments of their own ruin. I mean, that's the power to take with Wandering Voice. It's the power to take. Probably just forget Sucking Ooze because it's not good elements. So take that, forget Sucking Ooze. I could play these 3 cards. Range 1 Sacred Sight. I mean, after I push the Incarna around a million times, it's only going to be 2 times. What land would be the best place for instruments? That doesn't add strife. The other things don't add strife fast. Do it. I mean, E1, but that's... Strife the Explorer. Explorer deals 1+1 damage because it's a fire dealing power. Kills the town. They build a new town. Well, I guess it's a sand, so it can build whatever it wants. If I could try to get a strife in E6, that'd be nice. Not really gonna be able to do that, though. I could just put a bunch of strife down, like... Put a bunch of strife down somewhere and just have... I guess when I put strife on something, I push it, right? So actually, hold on a sec. Strife the town in A3, push it to E1. Strife the town in E7, push it to E1. Then instruments in E1 kills the town and explorer in there, and then I just say don't Participate in Ravage. Next turn I get to the reclaim 1 spot. Well, I'm not gonna have energy. I don't have a super million gain energy button here. Any reason to try to hit this threshold? Instead, if invaders ravage and target land, they damage invaders in adjacent land instead of Dahan in the land, and Dahan in target land do not fight back. I actually almost have that threshold this turn. Just 1 fire, 1 sun short. But I would need a land that has a bunch of strife cities and towns, which I don't have. Strife town push there, strife town push there. If I say they don't participate in Ravage, if I could somehow play this next turn, that'd be really nice. But I can't, right? It's like factually impossible to. The only way I could is if I were to, instead of regaining Paralyzing Fright, take Gift of Living Energy and play it on Wandering Voice. Wandering Voice. 3 energy there, +1 there. +1 maybe? But it would mean that like E6 is bad. I don't know, man. This turn sucks. This game sucks. Why am I playing this game? This game is hard. I'm just gonna grow into E1 for no reason. Just stare menacingly. I do have this threshold. I have this threshold too? And my Incarna's empowered now? Ooh. It'd be nice if I was actually putting Strife down. Well, my Incarna will be empowered, which means that it now isolates the land that it's in, which could be good. Still think it's going to be Power Storm on you. Boon on you. Moonfire. Plant. And then a fire gets this threshold, which might not matter at all, but it's something. So fire, plant. I said moonfire, but you already got that. Per 2 sun you have 2 sun. We're not going to be able to get more with that. Damage per sun plant. This would do extra damage then, in case that matters. So thickets there should do enough damage now. And you just put 3 wilds because there's no blight. Killing everything in A4, but anyway. Incarna moves here, push town there, Incarna moves there, move town there. Incarna's empowered. E7 is isolated. Instruments of their own ruin here. Doesn't matter. Adjacencies. Oh, this adds a strife too. It just adds a strife by itself. But then I could push that thing out. And then everything dies anyway. At least that stops that ravage. That was still important. Paralyzing fright over here is always happening. Might as well do that somewhere. This requires a land with... I guess I could just do that. Even though it's kind of meaningless. Still have this to gather and explore, which... doesn't stop Sans builds, because of course it doesn't. This is 5 damage. So it's enough to kill everything in there and stop that ravage. Enough to kill... I don't have... I can't do inland. Alright, it's only inland. 3, 4, 5. Almost is enough there. I don't have range there. It's only on one other cascade. Where is that? E4? Don't have range there. Maybe stopping the cascade in E4 is better than E6. But then that Sans is ravaging next turn anyway, so probably blocking that still is better. I feel like this is just gonna be the better spot. That's only 4 damage. Because I don't have the Badlands in there, right? So it doesn't stop that ravage, okay. I guess this then, because stop that cascade next turn. And then this pushes 2 to Han if I want. Or puts a wild somewhere. Or pushes 2 to Han and puts a wilds. I can't deal damage in a wild's land. I could save Dahan. That's really all I can do. Assume... What am I doing? This pushes 2 to Han. Maybe I should just push... Like, there's still that source of power. Let's just throw them here. Someday we'll get that. Gather and explore. I guess I could have used that to stop the C6 issue, huh? Doesn't really matter. I stopped the A4 issue. It's all the same. Take 1 explorer out for fun. Okay. 2 fair cards. Overcrowded cities. On each board with city, add blight to a land with city. Spirits may prevent this on all boards by destroying 2 presents from each board to be protected. Prey on the unware. Each beast destroys explorers. Add beasts to a board without 1. Come of age. On each board, add Dahan to a jungler wetland with Dahan. Add blight to a land with city. Kind of have to prevent that, don't I? Well, I can destroy 2 of my presences, except one of them actually moves. Haha. Haha. Go there. Which board now? I assume it's this one. Destroy 2 presents? No, it's this one. But I can move one of them. Haha. Haha. Okay, now it's this board. Destroy 2 presents. Oh, I guess... Wait. This can count as a presence, though. Why can't I click it? Hold on. Oh, because I decided it didn't count. It's probably better to do that. I think. This isolated land doesn't really matter much. It could be a jungle explorer, in theory. I guess I need a land for this, so I don't want to actually destroy it. Okay. Destroy one of those. I mean, I guess that one's going anyway. I mean, that's going to cascade anyway. Maybe not. I don't know. Then F8, I do have to destroy 2 presents here. Pretty much have to destroy 2 presents everywhere, because all these lands with cities are sands, and the sands are ravaging. At least with shadows, I can be like, haha. Haha. That Dahan is gonna die. That Dahan will survive. Oh, I can get this search. Okay. Did I have a choose for me that I just clicked? Well, whatever. Aha! We got it. Spirits do not need to forget when gaining a major power. Yes. I will take it. 2 fair cards. Restlessness. Each player pushes up to 3 explorer towns from a land not matching a build card. That stops this issue. And now we don't care at all about mysterious locations. We got all of the sources of power. I mean, E6, I'm just gonna Paralyzing Fright again anyway. Adding more towns means more cities and sands, though. Just gonna leave that in the jungle. Maybe we'll deal with that coast someday. Stops this ravage too. Or even that mountain, we'll deal with it someday. Pretty much I'm just gonna look at wetlands for this, as we can stop that blight issue. Do I want to put this in E7? It's isolated, so it's not really going to do much. But if they do explore jungle, then I have to do something with that. It's only a 1 in 4. Should be fine. The 4th option doesn't really matter as much. This needs to stay within range of mind-shattering song, otherwise I don't have a valid target for it. I could just put it in E7, but that's kind of meaningless. Just get rid of some town that could build and screw something someday. Like, just get this out of the Blightland. That's okay. Defend 2 in all lands. Well, doesn't do much. And then Sands build again. So, how many Sands things are there? Does it even say, like, it says 7 towns. That's a lie. So, we have to count. We have to count. 1 city, 1 town, 2 town, 2 city, 3 city, 3 city, 2 town. So it's gonna go town, town, city, town, city, town, city, town. 5 towns, 3 cities. So if we want to put city there, and then I don't really know where else. I guess a city here is dead to punish. I don't know if I can kill a town that's there, but it's gonna build something there anyway. Let's put town there. Town here. Then it's a city. Then it's a town. These are all gruesome. I'm just gonna click buttons because I don't know if it really matters. Explore jungle. Land without town. Wait, could I put it in this land? I just assume that it's gonna die in there, right? This deals 2 plus 3 plus 1. Yeah, so it should kill everything in there. Land without town. Oh, we skipped the build there. That's why they didn't build there. Okay. Well, we're gonna skip that anyway. Haha. And then, like, all these lands are just lost anyway. Just gonna be a bunch of sands cascades. No issues. No issues whatsoever. Alright. There's no other strife I can put down. So this is just gonna go here. We have 2 suns, so I can push 1 explorer and add wilds at range 3. Does that do anything meaningful? Eh. This is always happening here. Replace 1 explorer with a beasts. I could just do that there. Not really very many candidates for that. Unless somehow that beasts can do something effective down the road. Maybe I just convert this guy and then push this guy. And now we get choices here. Discard power card or take a minor, or pay energy. I think I give this to... I think we'll just reclaim all on Bringer. You're gonna have to pay energy to do that. You get Scream Disease into the wind. I will discard. I'll keep the one that says add strife, I guess. I get Renewing Boon. Okay. I get to reclaim 1 plus energy, gain power card. I think it's going to be growth option 3 there. It has to be a minor. It has to pretty much be a free power. Our Incarnate isn't powered, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. But air is obviously the ideal. Next time the Hanabi destroy 2 fewer. Maybe I do that. Maybe that does something. I mean, air is always good. There could be a world where I decide to let E5 Ravage. Because I could strife the city. I don't know how true that is, but... Hey, all my presence is gone. That's weird. I have 4 destroyed presents. So weird. Has to be a free power. We got Renewing Boon, which lets other spirits have destroyed presents. Also, almost have this threshold again. We are adding strife in the slow phase, so I just take Twilight Fog and I get more strife down. I push my presence twice. Destroy 2 fewer Dahan here. Honestly, that probably just kills everything in E6. That town is dealing 2 plus 2, so it's 4. So it would kill 2 Dahan, but we're killing 2 fewer. So I don't need to block E6 now. I block F8 probably. Reclaim 1 or reclaim all? If I just reclaim 1, obviously I'm just playing Paralyzing Fright. I think I reclaim all. Free power that deals damage? Importance is fine. Always that. And unfortunately, my free powers do not do anything. Okay. Okay. Is there a reason to not play Paralyzing Fright? Probably not. I could scream disease to the wind, but meh. I would really like to just keep playing Thickets. Only real downside is that I'm not taking advantage of gain power card or move presence around. Also, I kind of like to keep playing Power Storm on Thickets, but... if I were to not grow again... I mean, Reclaim 1 would be nice to have, but I'm never going to get there. I'm only putting 1 frickin' presence down every turn, and I seem to not even be doing that these days. I feel like I don't... that... I mean, I could do 2 damage there, followed by 5, which would be overkill, but it would block that Ravage entirely. Otherwise, I could just do 4 in there, which doesn't stop it enough. Certainly just taking Power Storm back on Shadows is not correct, right? We have to actually start developing Shadows. We gotta play Unquenchable Flames and do real things. If I could somehow do damage with Darkness Swallows, I stop some Blight somewhere, certainly. 3 Moonfires, 2 Airs. I don't have that. I'd have to get a Moonfire Air from Power Draw. It's probably better to just gain a power here. Moonfire Air? No. Fire damage. Power Purifying Flame? I guess technically anything that grants Moon is also a fire. I guess no, not true. Damage dealing powers granting fire do +1 damage. You may treat each moon available to you as being fire or vice versa. So I can't say this moon is a fire for this, right? It grants fire, it doesn't grant moon. I could choose to make it a moon, but it doesn't grant the moon. I may discard or forget powers that grant moon to pay for fire choice events and vice versa, but it doesn't explicitly say I can use that for the scenario. That said, I mean, the only damage on here is Purifying Flame, which... given the amount of Blight on the board, I'm obviously taking it, right? I think this needs to be Sacred Site. Unfortunately, I can't deal with... I can't deal with the thing there unless someone else helps me. I guess we could Paralyzing Fright it, but that's silly. I mean, move the thing over. I mean, it doesn't really matter. My presence is just gonna move anyway. Might make more sense for me to not worry about that Sacred Site then. So throw it here then. And maybe then I don't play the air cards this turn. So I could try to hit it next turn. Except I played an air card. I guess I don't want to play all of the Moonfire cards either. Is there a place where I would Concealing Shadows? I'm doing Presence at range 1. Could only be in a Sands. These 2 Sands are cascading. That's annoying. See, if we had this benefit where I could shift my presence in and out of Sands at any time, I could definitely make things work. But no, the Sands don't really have Dahan outside of E6, because they pretty much all died in the Sands last turn anyway. So Concealing Shadows doesn't make sense to play. I mean, I guess it's going to be Purifying Flame over one of these then. Surely this does something meaningful. And I guess I just do this again, even though I kind of wanted to avoid doing it, but it's just kind of too good to not do. That was... I did not want to hit undo, I wanted to hit this. Oh, but this is inland, so I can't do it in C2 anyway. I made that same mistake. So in which case, I don't want to do that. Guess I could do it in A8 instead. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should be enough to kill everything in there. And then hopefully I don't have to reclaim all whatever next turn, or just actually grow. Actually growing would be nice. Bird's Cry Warning, Protect, Inscrutable Journeying, Strife. Don't really want it to die in there. You could go in there. Do I want... I probably want to have something. I guess, well, but we're gonna probably do that anyway somewhere. This has to be from a sacred site, though, and there's not very many lands. No. I could just... Yeah, leave it in there, Strife the city that builds in there, and then this. Paralyzing Fright happening there. Portents of Disaster... Don't have range there. I would kind of like to get that extra fear before fear cards are resolved, but I also don't know that I can. Thickets here. Protecting the Han that aren't participating. Oh, you're right. True that. Unfortunately, I can't easily make the Dahan participate without also having that city strafed. This is range 3, but there's also no sands with Dahan other than this one. Well, I absolutely don't want to just protect the Han that aren't participating anyway. Okay, so how much damage is actually in here? 7? So it's destroying 3 to Han. If I protect 2, 1 dies. Still kills the city. Dang, I don't know. This is also not doing as much damage as I was expecting it to do in here. Because I don't have 3 plants. I don't have enough energy to play Sacrosanct instead of Regrow. Doesn't really matter which one I pull from. So that build is still happening, which stinks. I have 2 sun, moon. So this destroys 2 invaders. I mean, I absolutely want to strife everything in E7. This adds 1, this adds 1. I'm also dealing, what, 2 damage? Hold on, actually. Paralyzing Fright here. What if I push this guy here, put that there, put you here, strife that, leave you there. I think I don't protect those then. Or I do protect them, but I don't strife them. I guess that's just what I'm doing. Alright, event card. What are you gonna do now? Xenophobia. When ravaging a lands with Dahan, each individual invader does -1 damage to the land and +1 damage to Dahan. Wow. Beasts chased off homesteaders on each board, push 2 explorers or town from land with beasts at their gates, demanding redress 2 fear per land with Dahan and city. Hey, that's 2 fear. From a land with beasts. Choose for me, because I don't really know. Where are we even... Ugh. I hate when I hit choose for me and then I don't even know which land we're looking at. Fine then. I guess I have to actually look at these things. There's beasts there, but no invaders. Beasts there, beasts there. There's invaders there. On each board, so I can't double push there. Beasts there. Beasts there. So if I push that town out, that city is dealing 3. +1 to Dahan. +2. So it's dealing 6 damage. It's still killing all Dahan. But, I mean... Is it because this land's isolated that I can't click here? Looks like it. Okay. I guess isolation affects event cards. Weird. Then let's... This is probably fine. In the event the fear card actually helps us. I don't really know. 2 explorers. 2 fear. Each player adds strife in a different land with at least 2 invaders. Then each invader takes 1 damage per strife it has. Uh-huh. Can't strife this land anymore. Don't have any Badlands to help me. No partially damaged things. That's paralyzing frighted. So that will stay. Any chance I could do something meaningful in E3? I'm not gonna have enough energy to play instruments next turn. It's not my action that's adding the strife, so I can't push it. I think I'll just do E2 and assume. That. I don't know, I'm just clicking things now because I kind of forgot this is not per board. Okay. So that's Blade. Cascade, Cascade. This is the tricky one. That one's not ravaging. That one still does a million crap. Extra fear, and then, yeah, Cascade here. Either it's a double Cascade or I destroy another Wandering Voice presence. Which is great when I have only 3 presents left on the board. Probably fine. What's the worst that happens? Wetlands. Uh-huh. I'm running out of safe things to click. Sands I can't, mountains I can't, jungle, wetlands. It's either these two, and the jungle's gonna ravage immediately. I don't like putting it in a bladed wetlands, but can't always get what you want. I don't really like coastal sands, though. I mean, the coastal's gonna build regardless, but... Or the sands is gonna build regardless. Excuse me, jeez. So we said there... I guess coastal's just bad no matter what. Okay, can we, like, win the game before we lose? I would like to win the game before we lose. Kind of losing pretty hard, though. Alright. This deals 2 damage. I can kill the 2 towns in there, so I can, like, pretty much... I can actually use this to put something from 2 lands away over if I wanted. But only towns. Ideally wetlands things. Could I hit this? No. Push it on, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think it really super matters. Oh, I didn't want to Strife the Explorer. Well, that city's not strifed. There. That's a pretty powerful power. Alright. Damage per blade, blah, blah, blah. Unquenchable flames here first. Except that did a lot of damage because it's a firepower, right? And that's also a firepower. Maybe I do Purifying Flame here. Wait. No, hold on. Crops Wither. I guess that Juggle's also Ravaging. I want to replace something. Those are the only 2 lands I can really do it. I guess I could do it here. But we have to worry about the jungles first because we don't want to lose. Kind of would rather combo this with Purifying Flame, wouldn't I? Despite how that might make it hard to stop the jungle ravages, but like if I do this and then this, and then I get rid of that town. Is that reasonable? I can use Sacrosanct to kill everything in A8. Reclaim Paralyzing Fright for the millionth time to stop something. Probably E3. That's a triple cascade. What about these lands? Those are really bad. Also, I lost my presence over here, so I can't... Like, I have no presence on this board at all. I can't move my Incarna over here on the reclaim turn unless I don't reclaim. I just reclaim 1? Is that stupid? Presence at range 3, and then somehow not die. But that still doesn't help because I'm not going to get my Incarna over here. That just puts my presence over there. But I can only push my Incarna. I can't transfer it over unless I'm using this growth. The answer is thickets. Somehow. Somehow, some way. The answer can't be Power Storming Paralyzing Fright because I don't have enough energy to do that. This Incarnate is in a pretty bad spot. Can't use it to stop the jungles effectively this turn, no matter what. That seems unfortunate, having no presence on a board that is about to blight 5. Weird. So weird. Let's go back a bit. As fun as it is, the Unquenchable Flames there, does it make more sense to do it here? Almost have range there, but I don't. Could I get enough fear to get this hair level 3, but I won't be able to win because there's too many cities, but maybe the tear level 3 cards just solve the ravages? That's probably unlikely. Is there an effective major that someone could gain that would help? I mean, possibly. I mean, the only one that could really gain the major is Shadows. Because you're absolutely taking Paralyzing Fright. Like, you're fighting that. You have to block these, but this one I can solve this one. So it's just these two that we have to solve somehow. I mean, I probably just don't reclaim all on Wandering Voice. Because I have a reclaim 1, I can gain a power card, add a presence at range 2 to get on this board, and maybe the power I find does... Like, all I need is defend F2, I think. Like, this is a triple cascade over here. It's kind of a lost cause. If I could Paralyzing Fright that would be nice, but it's too far away unless I get the plus range power. That said, this is also a triple cascade, so I can't Paralyzing Fright both of the triple cascades. I do have regrow, but it's too far away from these lands to help. I mean, oh, but mountain sands I can't remove. Can't remove close enough to them anyway. So annoying that we have the Blight card that says +2 damage, because if I could just kill this town and not worry about the Explorer, I would be fine, but I can't. I feel like I just do this on this land, though. This is enough damage. It's kind of a waste of resources, but surely getting rid of that Explorer is easier than anything else, right? Get rid of that Blight. Can't move Explorers out. Just tripod wilds over here so I could grow over there. So have to solve F5. All right, major. Infinite vitality. I mean, that would work, except I don't have the range. I can only get 4 energy. Insatiable hunger. Except that adds a blight. Yeah, these are not the ones you want. Okay, this is minor. Literally anything that solves one of these. Land without blight, sure. Sure. Uh-huh. Presence range 2, this is the closest one. Which is unfortunately dreadfully far away from doing anything effective. I mean, I'm just gonna click this because it says air. That's pretty much the only reason, because air is the only thing that really matters. Really wish I could play instruments. Just going to assume that does something. This has to be this. Don't know that the any is gonna do anything, but any. And you can only play that. Neat. Yeah, the any really doesn't do anything. Hey, what a turn. What a turn to have this happen. Tickets, save me somehow. Problem is, if I click these two, I can only afford tickets and nothing else. Maybe I try to get plus range. I mean, I have to play Sacrosanct for this land anyway, so I don't really have that much energy anyway. Does this work? Only to coastal lands. That was not... I did not mean to click that. Surely that works. Infinite Vitality F2? And then this doesn't blight. This cascades over here, but this doesn't add blight, right? That just solves it. Destroy one Explorer is so useless right now. I don't think we can really play Concealing Shadows anymore. It grants a Moonfire Air, but I mean... Can't really not have Dahan not take damage with the amount of blight that's allowed. Okay, so we have plus range to coastal lands only. We can use slow power fast, or vice versa. I mean, I guess arguably animated rack root's less useful, but it does give a fear. I'm gonna take plus energy so I can play cards, make another sacred site, play my hand. And then we don't lose the game this turn. Okay, cool. So then this is Sky Stretches. And then we need energy like mad. I would really like to reclaim one someday, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen in a reasonable time frame. Let's get this presence. What range is this? Range 3. So I can, yeah, get there. And it's these two. You still have a sun moon. Doesn't really do anything meaningful. You still have an any. Also doesn't do anything meaningful. So we'll just wait for the event to see what we need aided by. This goes here. No, I did not play the right card. Somehow. Not that one. This one. Thank you. Sky Stretch. Nope. Sky Stretches. Infinite Vitality. There we go. Destroy up to 2 Explorers. Any meaningful place? I guess that would do something. I do have plus range to coastal, so I could try to destroy that guy too. Guess that guy's okay. It's really the blighted one I want to deal with. Paralyzing Fright, by the way. And then Sacrosanct. Push Incarna twice. Yeah, either we get another fear or another damage to a strifed thing. Only land with blah. I mean, it's never gonna ravage, but whatever. Beasts or push 2 explorers and they land with beasts. They are not really in wetlands. I will add beasts here in case the event kills it. That'd be nice. Give energy to Keeper because you're energy starved. And doesn't make sense to do any of these things. Range 0, but I could do plus range to coast, so I could just kill this guy and stop that build. Push explore town from one of a spirit's lands. We are unfortunately 4 fear away from tier level 3. Maybe the event card gives us the fear. Is this going to do anything meaningful? Probably not. Stop the build in A5. That could be reason enough to stop that. Because 2 fear is better than 1 fear? Or maybe I do Man's Wilderness and Slow Phase to push things up. Maybe that makes more sense. I mean, it's less fear, but I feel like we're not getting the fear. Why is there a finish using powers? Probably because elements. Oh, because it could affect thresholds, but it's not ever. Okay. What spirits are we using today? We're doing Wandering Minds, Keen Delirium. We have Violence Bringer. We have whatever this one is. Spreading Hostility Keeper. We have Dark Fire Shadows. All the ones that were released last week. Okay, so power fades. Each spirit chooses independently to destroy 2 of their presence, or forget 2 of their powers, or take 1 blight from the blight card and remove it from the game. Sand Fever Outbreak. On each board, add disease to the sands or mountains with most buildings. Offerings of Pattern and Dance. Each spirit with at least 2 Dahan among all its lands gains +1 energy. Okay. I will destroy 2 of my presence. I think I ditched that sacred site though entirely. You don't have many powers. You don't have many presence. But I think destroying 2 presence is better still. You have a lot of powers. You need to use it as a sacred site, so we're not destroying that ever. Removing Blight from the card is bad, so you're destroying 2 presence. Maybe, no, you don't have many presence. You're forgetting 2 cards. So let's do this again. Destroy 2 presence. Alright, what 2 powers are we forgetting? I feel like we need to do Renewing Boon if we want any chance of survival. Bird's Cry Warning is kind of silly. Tormo's Touch is whatever at this point. Let's just say it's a unique power. Honestly, I would rather keep your presence. So you're forgetting 2 powers. Savage Transformation was meh. Scour the Land can't ever be used. Disease. Sands or mountains with the most buildings. We have a tie. Let's go Blight. Everything else is forced. Energy. Fear card says on each board choose a land with beasts, strife, Dahan, downgrade a building there, or skip the next build action there. Can we do something with that? Wetlands build. Skip the build there. Downgrade. So those builds aren't happening. Those builds, yeah, our wetlands builds are actually sort of fine. skip that build. We're pushing the things out of there, so skip this build. So this is the only land. Downgrade the city? I don't want to downgrade this city. We're gonna... I guess we're not destroying it. Downgrade the not strifed city? Or not strifed town? Okay, so that's... not a blight. That is a blight. But it cascades there, which doesn't blight. And then that doesn't do anything. Okay, so we survived that turn. Mountains. Mountains are a bit bad. I mean, every land's a bit bad, really. Inland jungles aren't doing anything for a bit. That might be a lie. We have like one spare turn. Inland jungle. Not wetland. Not mountain. So I guess coastal jungle. We didn't actually get a coastal build this turn, or this game. Yeah, we didn't get coastal this game. Oh my god, they searched. Okay. Probably the extra sun is more valuable for this. Deal 2 damage. Kill town. Still a dread. Could even do it on me. No cities. The sands isn't doing anything. Spreading wilds. Push 1 explorer. Unfortunately, a lot of the mountains are blighted. Weird. Just gonna like try to stop something from happening, I guess. And you can take a moon. Haha. Okay. Is this reclaim all? I think it is because... oh no, we could now reclaim 1 on... ooh. Ooh. Because we now can play instruments. Is it better to still grow? If I grow, I can get more energy. Are we losing this turn? Currently, yes. You're also reclaiming. Infinite Vitality probably saves the day. Just don't let A2 blight and that stops the cascade. So this is reclaim on you. And you do get a power card. Your majors are pretty good, so I'm just gonna hook minor. Moonfires would be good. None of these are moonfires. Strife? Slow strife. It is more elemental though. Or we try to get this to line up. Is there disease anywhere? Sands wetlands disease? F8. We do have range there. I'm just assuming I can deal with C5 somehow, probably just by doing thickets. Just keep thicketing. What's the worst that can... I guess there's an elemental boon. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the fear and maybe try to accelerate our fear. That is not bad at all, but it's always this. It's probably this. That's the only other card I can play. Not really good elements for you, but I mean... I guess there is a world where you can do things. Reclaim All does get you Sky Stretches. Don't really need it. Would like to just grow. Tickus deals extra damage with what? Plant? Should have enough. So just do this. Sacred Sight. Oh, this is also Cascade. Maybe I have Power Storm instead? It's not a power... Ooh, but this does remove Blade. Maybe Power Storm's better then. Probably not worth putting things in there. They're probably just gonna die. Just gonna throw in there. So if I do this, I have the plants. Do this between C5 and C8. In C5, add wilds, and then I could do Sacrosanct if I so want. In C8, remove the blight, and then that stops that cascade. Does Elemental Boon do much for this? It gives you a fire, so you could do Punish, but I guess there is something in your land technically. Fire, Boon Air doesn't work. Paralyzing Fright's not doing anything this turn on Ringer. Weirdly. Wait, what's the range on it? 1? +1 range with all their powers does exist, though. Does that do anything? Probably not. Okay, so say that I do decide that I want to get... Might just be power card here and energy, so I do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Reaching Grasp is finally found. What's the things for this? Sun, fire, animal? Reaching Grasp actually would... okay, so with Reaching Grasp, then... I could Reclaim and stop this blight. Take this. Presence... I'd kind of like to do instruments in this land, but... Okay, but then reclaim this. I'm gonna give you energy because more card plays is not really gonna help. Okay. These don't deal damage, right? That's... Oh, this does deal damage, so I can play that, and then one of these. My any is moon? Probably? Wait, no. Crap. Undoing the energy is... Or the thing is so hard. If I do this, it's gonna take me way back, but it's the only way to really get that any back, because... I guess it's not way back. This... I mean, that's a free play. I can't ever get that moon, but... 2 air, 3 earth. I play the earth card. My any is earth. And I get +4 fear. Okay. And you still have sun or moon. Moon is literally just a fear. Sun is a plus damage. We don't have to decide that. Elements of boon over here could be interesting. Moon, air. Air gives us destroy invaders with strife, but instruments is pretty much killing everything with strife already. So better than the fire over here for 2 damage. Might be. Let's see. So this... Pretty much just want to put more buildings in here. Then instruments. Paralyzing Fright here with Reaching Grasp. Thickets here. And then Sacrosanct. And then go wherever. Damage. Power Storm for thickets here. Remove the blight. Fear. So, the question of who gets this. We're not hitting this threshold for damage. Probably just better to do on you. Moon, sun, air. And then I can destroy 2 explorers and generate fear for each. Stopping this build probably doesn't really matter. Probably gonna win the game before things would matter. Generating more fear probably better. Stop this build also is fine. Only blight is in C8. We have enough blight on the card. Sun, moon we'll wait on. Strip the land bare. Towns do +1 damage when ravaging. After a ravage action adds blight, remove an explorer town from the ravaged land. So it doesn't really do much. It does remove a town. Virulence among close packed homes. On each board, add disease the inland land with most buildings. Offerings of story and season. Each spirit with at least 3 Dahan among all its lands gains 1 energy and may reclaim 1 card. Hey, choices here. These both have 1 building. Huh. Stop that build, I guess. Portons, I guess. I don't know. That one. Each player adds strife to an invader. For the rest of this turn, invaders have -1 health per strife to a minimum of 1. Unrest. Just strife all the cities, honestly. Just makes them easier for things to happen to them. Each player chooses a different land and each gather up to 2 Dahan, 1 damage per Dahan. Kill cities with that? Needs... Oh, we need more than that. Okay, let's just do this, although we did Paralyzing Fright, so maybe that's stupid. Cannot gather 2 in there just yet. Is there a nice way of doing that? Not really. Combo that. Could kill that city. Probably kill this city. That's it, I guess? Okay. Sands Mountains explore, but no escalation anymore. Haha. Okay. We have like random powers, by the way, that I don't even know what they do. Can we somehow get more things pushed? Probably not. However, I can kill this city, quote unquote. I think that's the very first time we've actually used To Dream 1,000 Deaths, honestly. Maybe not true. I think we killed a town and pushed it at one point. Mountains Ravage, by the way. Am I worried about that? Probably not. 15 Blight, that's fine. We have 2 Sun, push 1 Explorer, blah, 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 blah. Probably just gonna Thickets. Surely we just win, right? Like, is it this city? Oh, there's 2 cities there, but like we're 9 fear away from just winning. So it doesn't really matter as long as we just generate fear, which is so easy to do with these spirits. Remove the blade. There you go. Progress. And then all the sands are blighted. Weird. So weird. I can stop this ravage. Cool. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to click one of these buttons and I didn't. which means I need to go back. Go back to Mind-Shattering Song, which I can't do. Really? I have to click this button. Yeah, because it's the moon that matters more for this. Generate fear. Okay. And literally just playing Paralyzing Fright wins us. We have innate air. I guess the only major issue is I can't just proclaim one, as I can't play Paralyzing Fright and Predatory Nightmares. Man, that sucks. I have to like click buttons still. Man. And again, I can't play anything else because it doesn't say damage. Man, I played this violence aspect so terribly. I think we barely used the fact that this was violence. So I think I never really clicked on the cards that said damage or destroy. So we lost the ability to look at fear cards in exchange for getting like 1 extra fear this game. Man, that is a misplay on violence. Whoopsies. And then literally the rest does not matter. Maybe remove blight for points, I guess. These don't remove blight. These don't remove blight. I guess technically I could remove blight if I have earth. I don't think I have enough earth without doing something stupid. I'm just gonna click cards. I'm not even able to hit this threshold. Could I hit that threshold? Can I at least say I hit this threshold once in this game? No? Guess not. Okay. That doesn't remove blight. Well, now that I'm finally at a point where I can reliably play Instruments of Their Own Ruin, the game's over. That's so sad. Okay. Technically this does make a slow power fast dessert. There is blight removal somewhere. Mountain Sands blight removal. There we go. We did it. Game over, victory, immediate win. Bearing in mind that, what was it? 2 hours ago? 2.5 hours ago? I was like, man, I want to rage quit this game. This is so stupid. But we managed to tear our way through to victory. The invaders' morale has been broken through sheer terror. They flee the island as quickly as possible. 50 points, 10 for victory, 35 for difficulty 7, 6 for the 3 remaining invader cards, 5 for the 22 surviving Dahan, and -6 for the 25 blight on the island. It would have needed to remove 2 more blight to actually save a point. Oh boy. 4-handed. That was an experience. Been a while since I did that. Yeah, and I think it was just made difficult by the fact that I'm unfamiliar with Wandering Voice. I feel like I was kind of getting a handle of it towards the end. Instruments is probably the best card for him, probably. I don't want to say it's the best, but certainly up there. But we were certainly in this weird situation, especially with Keeper, where we kept not putting presence down, which is a very dangerous downward spiral, because if you keep playing the only card you can afford with the energy that you have, and you can't ever get more energy than that, then it's kind of crap. I feel like I didn't really play Spreading Hostility that well. I did like the Badlands. I feel like I focused too much on growth option 4. I probably, if I were to do this again, would probably just focus more on the middle 2 growth options as I tend to do. Energy is such a premium here. I feel like you really need to get a bunch of good 0-cost powers. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But not having the usual energy gain here, plus the fact that you only put 1 presence down per turn at most, makes this very tricky. I do really like growth option 4, but I feel like I used it too many times too early on. Violence, I definitely crapped the bed with. I think we were also kind of... I mean, I don't want to say we were focusing too hard on this scenario. I think we did a very good job of getting a lot of lands explored. It was just that one terrible turn where they put 2 explorers down, and they did the double explorer into wetlands and sands, which were the only lands that would have been the issue, and they got like all 3 of these on that turn. I think that's what really screwed up this game. But Darkfire was fun. I wish I had hit the 3rd threshold more easily, but I really like being all, hey, you're not actually destroying my presence, I'm pushing it instead. Haha. That's fun to me. So I think of these 4, Darkfire I definitely enjoyed the most. Wandering Voice is a close second. Would like to give him another fair shot again when I'm not like screwed with Blight or something. And then these 2, Bringer and Keeper, definitely need to rethink how I approach them, as I wasn't really utilizing their mechanics that much. Maybe that's not 100% true. I think I was using the Badlands on Keeper frequently. I just didn't like that I kept reclaiming all and not actually growing. But I mean, sometimes you have no choice, right? Maybe if I was a better player. Maybe I should just be a better player. Maybe I should stop being bad and just be good instead. It's that easy. All right, well, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this 4-hour stream. I will see you around next time, where we will approach the next scenario. Second wave has to be done at some point as well, by the way. But the next scenario that we're approaching is Rituals of Terror. Difficulty 3. And we'll look forward to that next week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night.